What's up, you guys? My name's Erica. Welcome to the Trail and Travel channel. Today we are doing something a little bit different, a little bit new. We are exploring an abandoned ghost town. I am so excited to share this with you guys. We are exploring Grafton, Utah, and this is just outside of the National Park of Zion. So this is going to be awesome. I'm so excited to share with you. There's a couple different buildings here. Hopefully we get to go inside of all of them, if not some of them. So let's go check it out. Grafton is located near Zion National Park. Grafton was established in 1859 by a small group of settlers from Virgin, Utah, which is about 7 miles west of this little town. The first building you notice when you visit is this beautiful schoolhouse. These two-story walls stand on a lava rock foundation that was quarried by a nearby hillside. The adobe bricks are handmade from clay dug west of town. The settlers cut trees from Mount Trimble, nearly 75 miles away, and hauled them here to use as building beams. This building was used for a church, school, meeting house, and community center. This building hosted Friday night dances that drew cowboys from all around. The very last class that met here for school was in 1919. It's located right on the Virgin River, which gave the people in this town the ability to farm in this beautiful floodplain. The original residents of this town grew cotton, wheat, and alfalfa. At its peak, this was a very vibrant town full of community spirit. Though they kept their hopes high with the music and dance, life was difficult here. This area is subject to flooding, harsh winters, and they were attacked by Native Americans who were defending their land. This town had over 30 structures, however, only 5 large buildings still remain. In 1997, some of the buildings were restored and are now managed by the Grafton Heritage Partnership. This house belonged to Alonzo Russell, who built this home for his wife, Nancy. Alonzo was a professional drummer in Vermont and formed a family band in Grafton. The music and dancing drew the community together. Like many others in this area, these settlers were a part of the Mormon religion. They were determined to make a life on this newly found land. This contraption, this barrel with the sled, was used to transport water. They would drag this behind a horse and bring in, hopefully, fresh water from the Virgin River. The cleanliness of the water was a big issue. They didn't have a way to get fresh water besides using the Virgin River. Though it is restored, this town has a very distinct atmosphere and a very authentic feel. You are immediately thrown back into the times where these structures were buzzing with energy. Occupancy declined after 1907 when people departed to live in larger, more accessible cities such as Rockville or Hurricane. Without enough children to utilize the school, lack of culinary water, and electricity found in more developed cities, Grafton eventually became the ghost town that it is today. The last inhabitants of Grafton stayed until 1944. Due to the harsh winters, there are multiple fireplaces in this home. I am not sure how this house looked originally, but in its restorated state, it is absolutely stunning. There's so much detail here, and you can tell there was a lot of love and care put into this building. It looks like this place also has a cellar. Let's go check it out. So here you can see the stones that build the foundation of this house. This is pretty amazing. Get our way inside. Looks like they have some stairs here that used to be able to access the cellar from inside the house. Look at all the original stone in here. This must have been where they kept all of their food to preserve the freshness. This would be a good spot for grain, for bottled foods. In 1879, Alonzo built the log cabin across the street for his other wife, Louisa. Louisa and Nancy happened to be sisters. This home is much more primitive, it's much smaller, and strange enough, the ceilings are much lower. Louisa happened to be the very first woman in Grafton to own a weaving loom, which she purchased in New Hampshire and brought across the US to Grafton. This loom was passed down from generation to generation until it has ended up in the Museum of Pipe Springs in Arizona. This looks like some sort of makeshift cement that holds these beams in place. It looks like they used the sun-dried adobe bricks to create this fireplace. And I'm sure there was some sort of stone, maybe sandstone here as the footprint of the fireplace. They also had a mantle here. And let's continue looking through the structure. So you can tell that this was an addition to the house. This is definitely not made with the same materials as the original home. You can tell there's a big difference between the original home and the add-on here. Then you have this beautiful adobe wall, which they must have added on separately as well. You can tell this window has been turned into a cute little bookshelf. Let's go through this door and check out this other room. So this is also an add-on. This is not a part of the original build. And there is a window here. You can look out and see the schoolhouse. So this is a much more simple structure, not as much space, much more primitive. Looks like we have a shed here for chickens or animals. It looks like there's another structure that was here, maybe a granary, and another one located here. These could have been more buildings or little granaries. This structure doesn't specify who the owner was. This is also a very primitive structure. This is a nice log cabin, multiple windows, but it is just a big open room here. There are multiple doors in here, which is interesting. You can tell there was a granary in the back. Some of these farms are still maintained and used by people who live in the area. This place was pretty amazing to visit. We have one more stop before we wrap up Grafton. We are going to go check out the old local cemetery. This cemetery is located very close to the ghost town of Grafton. It is maybe a half a mile up the road, and it is easily found. There are signs that will point you in the right direction. Many of the graves here date back to the 1860s. Either weather has taken a toll on this area, or many people were buried in a fairly shallow grave because the soil in some areas seems to be pretty thin. Some headstones are missing from this cemetery, and some have been renewed. It is believed that this cemetery holds anywhere from 74 to 84 different people. Death is a natural part of life, but unfortunately for this little town, the year of 1866 was littered with death. There are many children buried here, some who died during the tragic outbreak of diphtheria, others scarlet fever, and 2 that died in an accident when their swing broke. There is a monument in the cemetery in remembrance of 3 members of the Berry family who were killed by Indians. That is going to wrap up this video today. I hope you guys enjoyed exploring Grafton, Ghost Town, and the cemetery with me. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. Remember to subscribe to my channel and click that little bell button so you don't miss a single one of my videos. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.